Hey guys, this is Chelsea Perry. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and I have been doing past life regression work for the last going on 9 years. I only started, going into more specialized fields in the last couple of years, but I have found that some of these sessions have just been so amazing that I really wanted to begin sharing them with you. And kind of uploading some clips and things as I'm having sessions, and I get permission from my amazing clients who come to me. And so this session that I am uploading first has a very interesting topic that I wanted to cover. So I have taken a portion of the session of a client that I have worked with a few different times. She tends to go under, she's what we would call a somnambulist. She does not remember anything when she comes out of the hypnotic state. So it's really fascinating because she always seems just so surprised by what comes forward. This particular session is interesting because she had been taken to a place called what they called the Hall of Records in a previous session. And, we really didn't know what exactly they were trying to do. When we got to the Hall of Records, she couldn't read the book that they had presented to her. And so it was basically like reading a language she had never read. We now know it as what they called light language. And so for her, she couldn't read it at the time. And so I thought, okay, well, it's not much of a big deal. We can't do anything about it. The higher self said she wasn't ready to read it. They were kind of frustrated, but, it was understandable. So this particular session, when she got to this point, all of a sudden sometimes I kind of just get hints about where to go. I normally never lead a session. I always let, the person's inner guidance lead the session. But at this point, I had gotten a message basically that we needed to visit the Hall of Records. And this was in the middle of the session. I didn't know if that was going to be possible. And there was an opportunity. So I moved us to this place that she had been before. And so when we got there, the most amazing thing unfolded because there was a person there that had not been there before, or that had not really been available before. He was, I don't know what was going on before, but it just wasn't the time or place. This time he's there and she can read her book. And so it really opens this most amazing information about how we have access to these things that we have created for ourselves coming into this life, and the amnesia that we experience coming in, we don't remember anything. And so, in this time that we are in, there's a lot of the awakening process going on and a lot of shifts and changes. And so it's really interesting to hear how we're beginning to see and remember this information. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think. And I plan to upload more of these as I go along because I have quite a lot of these sessions that I've kind of been holding that I've gotten permission to use, and I'd really like to begin putting them in this format. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy it. I want you to begin explaining to me what you notice.
The same person is here with me.
Is it your guide?
He's more like a librarian.
And what does he have to say?
He's kind of impatient.
Why would that be?
He's just got a stuffy, funny little personality.
Does he greet you?
Sort of. He kind of doesn't waste time on greetings.
Well, what does he have to say?
He doesn't He doesn't speak with his mouth. It's like he gestures with his hands, but he speaks telepathically. He wants me to try to read my book again.
Is it okay that we have come back here?
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, that's fine.
Is he happy to see you back here to attempt to read it?
Yeah. He gets frustrated because I want to look all around the room and look at all the things, and he says I'm wasting time.
Well, as you open your book, what do you notice?
The book is very big. It doesn't seem that big on the table, and then when you get closer to it, it's very big. The cover's very heavy, very detailed.
It sounds very beautiful.
I keep looking at the cover, and he's very exasperated with me.
And what do you notice when you look inside the book?
I can see the symbols in the book, same as before.
And as you focus upon the symbols, what do you notice?
So each symbol isn't necessarily a word or a letter. It's like each symbol, it's like a program. And so when I look at each symbol and touch it, it lights up and gives you the information that's stored within that program.
And are there any particular ones you're supposed to be touching or downloading?
Yeah, download, it's like that.
Are there ones just for you, or are they all for you?
I'm asking him about the book, about who made the book. He says, I don't understand. He said I made the book.
What does he mean by that?
He said I made the book for me to be able to access before. Yeah. He said the book is what I left for myself so that I could remember the information that I would forget when I came to Earth.
And are you ready for this information now?
It's a lot of information. It's kind of it's hard to put words into it. So when I sorry, it's happening really fast.
That's okay. You can take your time.
Each symbol, when you touch it and access the information, you can see glimpses of what you're remembering, learning. I don't know the word for it, but more so you get a feeling. There's like a feeling, an emotion, and like a knowing of the information that goes with it.
And is this the first time as a human you have utilized this information?
I didn't have access before. That's why he was so frustrated. I was supposed to have access earlier.
And is this going how he hoped it would go now?
He's kind of hard to please.
And is it time for you to access all of the symbols or just some of them?
No, he won't. No, he won't let me. He says it's too much.
Well, can you ask him to show you the symbols that you are supposed to learn at this time? We only want to do what you can handle at this time.
He says there's 3 that I can access now, and that he'll he said I can access the rest of it okay. So he says during like sleep, astral travel, I don't know, there's other ways that he can send me the information, allow me to access it.
How will you know when you're accessing it?
He said I'll remember being there.
So it doesn't have to be through this method?
No. It's just before, when I would try to open the book and read it, I couldn't get the information. It wouldn't come through. But he said now that it can come through, he can send or allow me to access it. He can't send it to me. I have to be there to get it.
Well, what are the 3 symbols that you can access now? Can you explain them to me?
The first one looks like similar to a Y. Except the left side is shorter than the right and at an angle, and then there's 2 dots at the top and a slash through the bottom.
And what does it mean?
That one. Yeah. It's hard to put to words. It's
It's okay. Are you able to summarize it? I know it's a lot of information.
It's giving me almost like the feeling of the life I had before I was here. Before, almost like like the only physical thing I can see is it looks like a star chart. Maybe that's where I was. Yeah, he's jumping up and down. He's like, yes, that's okay. That's where I was.
And you'll be able to recognize this when you come out of this state?
He says I should be able to.
And how will that help you now?
So he's saying when we come here to this density, we forget. It's like amnesia. You forget who you are, your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing. You start over. And so much time is wasted forgetting. I was supposed to remember a lot sooner, and I didn't. And he's pretty irritated about that.
Well, what can you do now? Remember.
He's been tasked with keeping this book safe for me until I was able to access it. That's why he's mad. He's been doing this for a really long time.
Well, how would you have been able to find the book if we hadn't have done it through this method?
He's saying I was supposed to have been able to access it, or I thought I could access it easier, sooner. Okay. So he's saying that I should have been able to travel there. Like when I guess when my physical body is asleep, I have the ability to travel there, but I just get too distracted with other things and caught up in other things and forget that I'm even supposed to be there.
Well, if we're forgetting as humans, how are we supposed to know that we're supposed to go there?
I don't think either of us realized I would forget as much as I did for as long as I did.
So it will be easier for you to access this place at any point after this?
He says it should be now.
And if it's not, then what? What can we do?
Yeah, okay. He says I can come back in this manner, but it would be easier if I could come back during sleep, to access larger amounts of information while my body is resting.
Is there a way that he could give us to trigger this when it's time for you to know that maybe while you're sleeping, you will go there when it's time? There has to be some easier way for us to know when it's time and how to get there.
He said the hard part was the heavy amnesia. That was the hardest task to overcome. Remembering how to access the information even once you got there.
Is there a way that he can tell us when it is time for you to come back to learn more?
He says I need to come back. Okay, so the 3 symbols that he's having me access. The last one is a way to access the book.
And are you looking at that now?
Yes. So, okay, it's like a way to remote view it easier so that I can access the information and receive it passively.
And what does that symbol look like?
Okay, it looks like a spiral. There's a dot in the center. And there's 2 dots on the outer band of the spiral with a line. It's like a swooshy line kind of under the bottom of it. He said that will give me a link to the book so that I can access it.
And so is that downloaded completely now?
Yes.
And what was the second symbol?
It was, okay, it's like a triangle with a angled line at the top and a dot on the bottom corners of the triangle. Yeah.
And what does that one mean?
He wanted me to remember why I chose to come. That's why he said I had to access that one.
And why did you choose to come?
I was very sad, frustrated, disgusted, all those things with how humanity had fallen. There were others that were okay with just letting it collapse on itself. But there was so much good that I couldn't stand to see it all get destroyed.
And so what did you plan for when you came here? What was the hope?
To go back and undo the damage he did.
Do you feel like you've accomplished that more now?
No, there's still so much.
So what is your plan now that you know that? Did you plan to come here and help in a certain way?
There were a lot of us that planned to come and help. I think they all got lost too, like me.
Is there anything else he wants to tell you?
He said we all need to wake up faster.
Does he mean humanity or certain people in general?
Those of us that came to do our job.
Was I one of those people?
He said yes. He said you should have a book too. But he's not responsible for it. You'll have to find it.
Well, how am I supposed to find the book?
He said that's not his problem. Sorry.
I appreciate it anyways. Even every little bit helps.
He's a little snippy. He said he's spent enough time having to watch mine that you need to ask your bookkeeper. Oh, he's a bookkeeper. Ah, okay.
And when does he want you to come back?
He said now that the connection is established, he'll reach out to me when it's time for the next set of information to be received.
Okay. Well, I want to let him know that we appreciate the help he's given today. And if there's anything else he wants to tell you, now is a good time to do that.
Wow, he's got an attitude. He said that's it for now. Try not to waste any more time.
We will do our best.